Let's go ahead and get started. Last live we have talked about, for many lives now, but last live we talked about the fact that I was reading in scripture and I didn't get to touch on it because I did not have access to the book right then and there, and I didn't want to have to pause the live and go look for it. But I have my notes from where I was writing down the verse and everything, so I want to go over that. But we're gonna first, cover some bases of our Purge the Poison series. What we're talking about and what we're doing for ourselves with the Purge the Poison series, because we have to understand why it's so important to get these poisons out of our life, to purge these poisons from our life, because a lot of us are poisoning ourselves with our habits and our ways, and we don't even realize that our lifestyle is so poisonous that we are unaliving ourselves with our actions. We are harming ourselves with our actions, and we need to stop and to make change for ourselves, because we don't want to be suffering. We don't want to have a lifestyle of being unhappy and not being able to live vibrantly by the things that we're doing for ourselves. So in order for us to get to a vibrant, energetic lifestyle that we truly deserve, the lifestyle that we truly want for ourselves, we have to make a shift. We have to make a transformation. We have to stop listening to the programming that we've been taught all of our lives, because majority of us are unknowing, our relatives are unknowing, our parents, their parents, so on and so on. And it's been passed down generationally to just conform and to just go with the flow. And we need to start asking more questions, reprogramming our mind, and stop conforming and start to renew and to understand what is going on. And so our theme for March is Purging the Poison, and our focus is deprogramming and reprogramming, because we need to get deprogrammed from society standards and what they tell us that we need to do for ourselves, and what we're advised to do, and to consider what to take intake in moderation, and to start questioning why things are the way they are. Why are people sick the way that they are? Why are people not healing? Because our bodies are designed to heal. And why are so many people suffering? And why is it getting worse? Because it used to not look this way. People would have diseases and it'd be rare. People would have illnesses and it'd be rare. But now it's more common than not to have a disease or illness or something going on inside of your body than to be actually healthy and to have nothing going on and your body continuously healing the way that it should. And so when you bring that up, people look and they're just like, okay, well, it's just a part of life. And that's not true. Because if your body is not healing itself, you're not helping it be able to heal, because your body is designed to heal. And if it's not able to heal, there's something going on that your body is constantly having to fight, that it cannot heal itself. And so we have to get out of the mindset of what we've been programmed to believe, that everybody develops an illness, everybody develops a disease, is a part of life, and to get back to the space of my body is designed to heal. Regardless if I do get sick or an illness or whatever, my body should be healing and I should be able to get back to a healthy state. And if I'm not, something is wrong. And so we have to transform our mind, transform the way that we live, take action so that we can live vibrantly. And if we're not doing that for ourselves, then we're going to be suffering. We're going to be sick, and we're going to be worse off as a society. We're going to keep getting worse and worse. And we're passing this on to future generations. We're passing this on to our children, and we're passing this on to their children, and so on. So why do we want to keep conforming and living the way that we do? Because we are, the generation after generation, we're the result of people not understanding, people not questioning, people not taking initiative into starting to understand that this is not how people were living before. People weren't living with all these illnesses and diseases, and start changing. Instead, we've just gotten to the space of acceptance and just to go with the flow and not questioning anything. And we need to be questioning. We need to be changing. We are forever evolving in the wrong direction. We need to evolve in the right direction. And so going into understanding that the mindset is the first thing that we need to get out of. We need to change our mindset. We need to reprogram our mind to understand that if you are going to make change, it starts with the internal, with your brain, and getting out of the subconscious and the conscious thought of that you can't do this, that society has told you this is okay and that it is okay, and get into the frame that you can change, you can do this, and society has been lying to us and they continue to keep lying. And now we need to stop listening to them and start doing our own research. We need to stop just going by what it says on this article and to start diving deeper into the research. Start trying different things out. Start to question why there's no fruits out on the trees that you have access to currently right now, why you can look outside and there's a bunch of male trees instead of abundance of female and male trees. Why do we have all of these grassy areas, a bunch of land, a bunch of trees, a bunch of plants that do not provide any vegetation, actual food for us, while we have no fruits and vegetables growing in abundance, while we're told to kill a bunch of weeds in our yard according to what society calls them as a weed that is harmful to your land. In reality, they're designed to be there for a reason. They're actual medicinal properties in those weeds that they tell us to kill off, and they are healing properties that can allow us to not be sick. They're healing properties that can give us different types of vegetation, and kind of in a way how we think of like spices and things like that, things that can be added to our food that add more nutritional value to our food than what they give us on a daily basis, what we give ourselves on a daily basis. And so we're not questioning anything. We're not questioning enough. And so the things that we consider as simple as just a weed, and considering it a weed and going out and killing it in our yard because it's something that doesn't look desirable, it's something that's apparently going to harm our yard, we don't even question simple things like that, or rather complicated, because when you really get into it, people just go by what they're believing and what they're told, and they're telling you to spray all these pesticides, these weed killers and all these things on your land, not allowing you to realize that you're killing your soil, you're killing your land, you're killing a place that you could be genuinely growing vegetation, crops, things for yourself. You could be growing food for yourself. And now it's gotten to the point where your land is so toxic, it's so poisonous, you wouldn't even want to grow anything inside of the land and consume it. Because if you're growing things in a toxic, poisonous environment and you consume that, it's absorbing all of that from your soil, you're going to absorb that. So it's gotten to the point where now it's like we can't even grow anything in the ground on our own land because we have been poisoning our own land because that's what they've told us to do. And so instead of us being questioning beings and start to get back to the basics of how to take care of a land, how to grow your own things, how to understand what you should be doing for yourself so that you're not spending tons of money having to go out to a grocery store every single day. We're being told to go out and buy all of these poisonous products to put on our land. We're being told to put all these poisonous products on our body. We're told to eat a bunch of poisons. Like, poisons are all around us, and we're told these things and we believe them because we're not questioning enough. And we've gotten so separated from what we were told to be and what we were told to do by the Most High himself. And so since we're so separated from our natural design, we're not healing anymore. We're so unaware of what is going on. We're so unaware of how we're poisoning ourselves. And since we're in that space, since we're so misguided, there is no stability, there is no balance. And so since we're so unbalanced and we're so unstable, we don't even see it anymore. We don't even realize it. Our brain, our body, like, we're all imbalanced. Our lifestyle is imbalanced. Like, and we just think it's natural. We think it's normal. It's just a part of life. And that's just not true. Like, the only reason why it's like that is because you choose to let it be. And there is no, well, I can't do anything because the government is over me. I can't do anything because there's people, there's sources that are over me, because that's not true. If you want to make change in your health, it starts with your action. It starts with you. And as simple as it sounds, how everybody says if we all band together, we can do this. You can't band together if you can't get yourself together first. So get yourself together first. And if everybody individually, collectively, as one household, in every single household, start to get themselves together, we won't have to necessarily band together and form a group, because it will overall become its own separate individual groups that can come together after everybody is set and stable and ready to go. But you have to get you and your household first. You have to get your stability together first. And that starts with you internally. Get your own household together first. Because if you get yourself together first, and that person over there gets themselves together first, that person across the street gets themselves together, and so on and so on, and it spreads out from nationwide, we all individually get ourselves together without even banding together, they'll start to realize, because it'll hurt their pockets. We won't have to band together first. We won't have to join a society, start a group, start a movement. The movement will start within us. And the movement will start with our actions, rather than us having to go out and protest, getting stopped, being told that we can't do this, getting put in jail, or whatever else that they like to do to us. When we band together and start a movement, when we start doing all of these things, and they say that we're violent and all these other things, we don't have to do all of that. It starts with your home. It starts with, stop spending money there. Stop putting your money into these things and start putting money back in yourself. That's the first thing that we got to do. And eventually we can get to the space where we start to spread our money and our wealth and our knowledge out to each other, and we start to group together. That person may be a beekeeper, that person may be a farmer, this person may grow their own herbs, like things like that. That's how we start banding together. But the first thing is for you to get out of the mindset, reprogram your mind, and change your actions, because you're not going to change overnight. Things aren't going to change for your life overnight. Your lifestyle's not going to change overnight. But it's the small little actions that you take to slowly get to that space. The small little changes that you make that will lead to the big change in your life. That will lead to the big lifestyle that you truly want, what you deserve for yourself. And so understanding that there is poison in our food, there's poison in the habits that we're intaking by putting poisonous objects and things in our body, on our body, in our grass, in our soil, on our land, in our products that we're using at home to wash things, to clean, to disinfect. We're using all these poisons around us, and we expect to be healthy. That's not possible. Like, it's literally not possible. And so get out of that space, because we're so detached from our original design, our authentic design. I'm trying to think of another way, our original intention to be. And I was reading in Leviticus 26 that was like, it was truly like hitting home for me, because I'm just like reading from beginning, because I have not read my Bible from like beginning to end all the way through. I skip around a lot, and I still skip around, but like my goal for this year is to get through the entire Bible from beginning to end, not just skip around, because I do that in between. But I was reading in Leviticus 26, and this is highlighting the whole chapter, not a specific verse. This is highlighting the whole chapter, because the whole chapter was really hitting home. And when you have time, you need to go and you need to read this, because it's truly motivating, and looking at it in a space of understanding that we are poisoning ourselves, and we're poisoning ourselves because we're so detached from our actual biological reality of what we're supposed to live like. And so the chapter is emphasizing our covenant with the Most High, and our contract with Yahuwah, that keeps us protected and it keeps us cared for. And we're so detached from that. We're so unaware of that we're not following his ways. We're no longer following his commands. We're not receiving his promises anymore, because we're not following his ways and his commands. And if we want to get back to the space of being protected and cared for the way that we were designed to, and the way that we truly want to be, because I don't know anybody on this earth that wants to just be sitting out here suffering the way that we do, then we have to get back to his ways and his commands. And he never lets us go without harvest, safety, or shelter. That was one of the things that I highlighted. He never lets us go without harvest, safety, shelter, or his forgiveness. That was the 4 things that I highlighted. So harvest, safety, shelter, and his forgiveness. And so we've seen firsthand that we're going without harvest in a way, shape, or form, regardless of if there's something in the grocery store for you to go consume or not. We have seen multiple times in multiple different ways, from 2020 all the way until now, going without harvest, seeing people's shelves unstocked in grocery stores, seeing only non-organic and GMOs being supplied to people not being safe. And like I said, we're talking about just how the fact that like we try to band together and we get thrown in jail, or we get called a violent riot, we get called violent for rioting and all these other things. And we get a lack of safety and security in knowing that we could go out and grow things in our garden. We could go out and be healthy by eating out, or eating it at a getting food from a grocery store, because we don't know what we're consuming. We don't know what we're eating when we're eating out, eating fast food. We don't have any safety in our home because we're poisoning ourselves, and we have a bunch of poisons around our home. And then on top of that, like, we aren't really in a safe, sheltered place either, because at the end of the day, our home, according to the higher up people, our home can be seized at any time, regardless if you paid for it or not. They can come into your home today and say, we need this. It's court-martialed, it's court order, whatever. We need it for the military. Come in and take it now. They can see that you're growing something, or you're starting something that is actually profitable for you, and it's actually something that's helping your community. And they can say, well, that's not what this land is designed for. Take your land, sue you, whatever. They can sit there and say that you're not allowed to mass produce animals on your land. You're not allowed to sell products that are unnatural on your land. You're not allowed to grow gardens on your land. There are HOAs and all these things that are preventing you from doing things on your land that you own because you have paid for, because there is still a contract with these higher up people. You have signed your life away to them and not realize that you are literally disbanding yourself from the covenant that you have with the Most High, because you're not following his ways and his commands, and you're following their ways and their commands. And that is as simple as just you poisoning yourself, because you should be treating your body like a temple. Your body is a temple. And since you're not treating your body like the temple that it is, you're not discerning anymore. You're not aware that you are poisoning yourself. You're not aware that you are emotionally unstable. You're not aware that you are physically imbalanced. And so you're having hormonal issues. You're having PCOS problems. You're sitting there developing diabetes, obesity. You're having all of these issues. You're leading yourself to cancer, or maybe you have developed cancer. And it's because you are literally not caring for yourself. You're not protecting yourself, and you're not allowing the Most High protect you or care for you, because you are breaking the covenant every single day with your habits, your actions, and your ways. Your beliefs are askew. Your beliefs are out of this world, and they're not of the Most High. And since you do not believe that the Most High is protecting you, do not believe in the Most High's covenant, you're not actually following his covenant and supporting yourself, you are not receiving his blessings. You are not receiving his promises. And like I said, his promises are harvest, safety, shelter, and his forgiveness. And you will always receive his forgiveness, but you have to first believe in the covenant. You have to believe that you can be forgiven. And so we all have to follow his ways and repent, because we all fall short. We all have slip-ups. It's a part of life. And I have been there. I was there once where I was in the place of not understanding that I was not following his covenant, because it always says in the Bible over and over and over again, and people skip over this. Nobody really mentions it or talks about it. The fact that we are supposed to eat of the fruit of our labor. And the fruits of our labor that we are supposed to consume are supposed to be the seeded fruits of the earth. We are told that it's okay to eat a seedless watermelon. We're told it's okay to eat these GMOs. We're told to eat all these genetically modified foods that do not produce seeds, that are not fruits of our labor, that are man-made, lab-grown, chemically imbalanced, chemically askew, messed with, and we're told it's okay. And so then we believe in the false narrative. We believe in the programming, and we're sitting here wondering why we're sick. We're wondering why we're suffering. Why in the world the world is the way it is. Why people are so mentally imbalanced, so mentally and emotionally unstable. And it's because we are literally accepting. We're literally accepting what they tell us is okay. We're accepting the false narrative, and we're so brainwashed, in a sense. We're so brainwashed into believing it that we emphasize it onto our children. We emphasize it to others that it's okay, and then we fight for it to be okay. Instead of fighting for the truth, fighting for us to be able to be healthy, we fight to be so unhealthy. We fight to eat all this crap. We fight to eat all this processed foods, and we don't even fight for ourselves to realize that, like, I deserve better, and since I deserve better, I'm going to give myself better. You don't even fight to give yourself any better, and that's not okay. And it's okay to understand that you have messed up and that you are this way, and to realize that, like, I no longer want to be this way because my body deserves better. I do deserve better. And so that's where asking for that forgiveness comes in. Accepting your slip-ups and ask for forgiveness. And knowing that our contract with him is forever. Our covenant with him is forever. It's whether you're going to accept the covenant and you're going to accept that contract and you're going to follow it, or you're going to go against it. That is the key, because if you're not receiving his blessings from following his promises, following his commands and his ways, receiving his promises, then you're breaking that covenant, and you need to figure out where you're breaking it. And more likely than not, it's because of your habits and your action, or it is. No, there's no more likely than not. It literally, it's because of your habits and your actions, and more likely than not, it's starting with the mindset that you have and the foods that you're consuming and the poisons that you're allowing to be in your life. And so we have to understand that if we are breaking his covenant, we are receiving his wrath. And it talks about this in Leviticus 26, that if we are breaking his covenant, we are receiving his wrath. And if you don't think that this world is receiving the wrath, then you are literally blind. You're not delusional. You're being blind. And there are so many examples of how we're receiving his wrath. And since you're being so blind because you don't want to see it, you are going to set yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to not be with the Most High in the end. And you're breaking the covenant. Because you have to see the light and the dark in the situation. Because if you can receive his promises and his blessings, you can also receive his rage and his wrath. And so it's like, what are your actions that you're taking for you to be able to receive the blessings? What actions are you taking for yourself for you to receive his harvest, his safety, his shelter, his forgiveness? What are you doing for yourself? And if you're not doing anything to receive those things, then you are on the opposite side. You're receiving his wrath. You're not being able to seek and reap what you harvest in your garden. You're not able to see that safety and stability in your life, and you're not being able to get safety in the place that you are at right now, living in and dwelling. Because I know that I was once there. I was once in the space where I didn't see the safety in anything. I didn't see the safety in depending on myself, because I was imbalanced, seeing the safety in society and understanding that there is answers. There are solutions to the problems that I'm having and that I'm seeing, and that even though there is a government above me, according to society standards, there is a higher up, a government, there is the Most High, and the Most High will always cover me regardless, because the Most High is over any government that thinks that they're over me. And so I understood the Most High was the Most High, but I never really understood how I could be protected from the higher ups that society allows to be in charge. And so I was always kind of in a delusional victim mindset, if that makes sense. I was detached instead of I'm not detached. I was disassociated instead of detached, if that makes sense. Because I've talked about this before, but I want to talk about it in the series because it's perfect for this. Because detachment and disassociating are two different things. Disassociating, and I'm a psychology grad, so disassociating yourself from a situation and detachment are two different things. Disassociating is such as like when you go through a trauma or you have something in your life that you like mentally and physically cannot deal with. So it is your trigger response. So your conscious and your subconscious agree that your body cannot handle this, you cannot handle this, and so it goes back into the subconscious. It's no longer a conscious thought, and you disassociate yourself from that, whether it's from using it in life where you disassociate it from going work 9 to 5 every single day, disassociating yourself from that instance, that trauma, that situation that you know that you can't deal with currently right now because maybe you have a lot going on, maybe you have to go to work, like things going on, maybe you have kids, like all of these things. So your body disassociates from that. And that's the same way when people say that they feel like they had an out-of-body experience when they go through things. That is a form of disassociating. It's because your body cannot handle it in that moment, and it hopes that maybe one day you'll have enough mental capacity for you to release it and not have to deal with it in that moment, so that there's some kids running down the street in that moment. So since you have no mental capacity to use it, it just subconsciously stores it. And since it stores subconsciously inside of you, and you have disassociated, you no longer feel those feelings towards that until you're triggered again. And so that type of thing stores inside of your body. Disassociating and from trauma and things like that, it stores. And when things like that store inside of you, you develop illnesses, you develop problems, you develop sicknesses. And so, detaching, in the other hand, because society has been very heavily using that word and we don't really understand it, because I've seen a lot of people using the word detachment to use disassociating, and they're not the same thing. Detachment, in the sense of detaching from the outcome, knowing that you are covered. So, for instance, using the Most High, knowing that I'm covered, knowing that I'm okay, and knowing that regardless, I have sown the seeds that I need and that will allow me to be prosperous. And so I've given it up to the Most High. Now I can detach from the outcome. Whether it happens the way that I think it should or the way that it happens, it's still going to work out for me in the end. And so since I have detached from that outcome, I'm not sitting here waiting and hoping that I sow what I've reaped in with these seeds. Rather, I know I'm going to get it back. I'm just waiting for it to come for me. And continuously praising, continuously knowing that it's coming for me, and already thanking him because I know that it's coming. But that is your form of detaching versus disassociating. And so society has gotten so keen to disassociating. We have realized that, like, life is full of trauma, it's full of trials, and it's full of harmful situations. And since we've become so aware of that, we skate by life disassociated. We skate by and get through things disassociating because we don't have time to deal with our trauma. We don't have time to deal with all of these things going on. We don't even have the mental capacity to try to figure out how in the world can I, little old me, even make a change, make a difference. And it's like, that's not true. You have power. Every single person has power. There is energy that you put in this world. You manipulate energy first by your mind, because if you can think up any idea and make it a thing. Let's say you're an artist. You think up an idea in your head, you paint it out, you draw it out, whatever. That is you manipulating something. You have made something and made it and created it, whether it's on paper, whether it's a sculpture, whether it's something physical. You mentally first thought about it. And so putting that into the instance of you understanding how to purge poison for your life. If you're sitting there thinking that you're not going to be able to purge the poison, you're not going to be able to make change, you're not going to be healthy, you're not going to take the action to be healthy. You're not going to make change for yourself to be healthy. And so you're going to be sitting here trying to figure out how you can do it, talk yourself out of it, be negative about it, and then you're going to sit here and be like, you know what, it's not possible for me. You're not going to do it. You might stick with it for a week. The last one ended unexpectedly. That was wild, but we're going to continue. So understanding that society has gotten to the space of being so programmed into a false narrative that we cannot see change for ourselves. And so we sit here and we think up all the negative things. We sit here and put all these negative connotations on us making change for ourselves, getting rid of all the poisons in our life, avoiding cancer in our food. And so it's simple, because I've seen this plenty of times, how people, this thing is bothering me, but people will sit there and be like, everything causes cancer. I might as well just eat what I want to eat. Everything doesn't cause cancer. It's what you're eating. Everything does not cause you cancer. What's causing you cancer is you eating these GMOs, these genetically modified foods. You sitting here not knowing where your fruits and vegetables are coming from, and their soil has a bunch of cancerous, poisonous products inside of them. That's what's making you sick. And so you've gotten into the mindset and the programming and believing that since you can consume these things in moderation, it's okay to consume these things because it hasn't caused these people cancer. It's okay because they told you in a scientific study. Now you're sitting here thinking that you're sick, and you're sitting here thinking like, oh, it's just a part of life and that's just something. But it's like, no, your mindset got you here. Your mindset and you not changing got you to this sick place. Instead, if you would have reprogrammed your mind and you would have believed that I don't deserve to be sick, I can heal, I can truly be healthy, what do I want to do and how am I going to do this for myself, and then started to reprogram your mind, in which then leads you to taking action to help yourself, you would have realized that you don't deserve to be poisoned. These poisons that are put in your life for a reason, because so many people are so disassociated and going through the motion and going with the flow and not questioning anything, so they can slide these poisons in any and everything. And so you didn't make it a mission for yourself to make change. And since you didn't make it a mission for yourself to make change, nothing in your life changed for you to be able to be healthy. Nothing in your life changed for you to be able to be healing every single day. So your body's been suffering for years. Your body's been sick for years. And that led you to being imbalanced. That led you to developing illnesses and diseases. And you got sick. And you led yourself to cancer. All because your mindset never wanted to change. And so getting out of that space of, first of all, Stop being negative and start being positive about change, because there is positive change in this. There is a positive reality in this. It's, do you want it for yourself? And if you want it for yourself, you're going to go get it. And make the switches. Start to visualize what you want for yourself. Start to visualize the lifestyle. Start to visualize, what does a disease-free lifestyle look like for you? What does switching look like for you? What does making the Most High happy and following his covenant look like for you? Because if not, if you're breaking the covenant, you are receiving his wrath. And society has been receiving his wrath for quite a while. And since we've been receiving that wrath for quite a while, then we realize and we see the result of that. Us being sick, us having diabetes and obesity and cancer, and all these people walking around not being happy. A lot of people walking around being mentally unstable. And since they're walking around being mentally unstable, they're taking antidepressants, anxiety medicines, like taking all of these prescriptions and pills that are making them more chemically imbalanced, because they're giving you a bunch of chemicals to balance the natural chemicals that you have inside of your body. They're giving you man-made, dangerous chemicals to balance the natural chemicals inside of your body. It makes absolutely no sense. It's literally insanity. And so, since we are breaking the covenant and receiving his wrath, he lets us have the repercussions, the fallout, and lets the world have us and our enemies have us. He lets them take over, because you're not seeking him, you're seeking your own ways, and your own ways are sinful. Your own ways do not allow you to be able to heal. Your own ways are breaking his covenant. And we've seen the fallout of us following our own ways. Multiple examples, whether it's biblical, whether it's you looking at society, whatever you think that you deserve, whatever you think that you need to follow and to look at and observe. We've seen the fallout of us following our own ways, and how he lets us lets the world have us, lets the enemies have us, and the enemy for us is these people who put all these poisons in our food. And we see the fallout. We see what's going on. And instead of us starting to make change for ourselves, stop listening to these people and to start realizing that we deserve better, we decide that, hey, I'm just going to follow it, because at the end of the day, I can't do anything about it. And that's not true. That's your mindset. And your mindset is going to lead you to cancer. Your mindset is going to lead you to disease. And so get out of that space, because he even says that he lets the world and our enemies have us. And that leaves us, and this is in Leviticus 26. This is not me just talking. It leaves us with disease and inflammation and wasting away. And that's what we're doing as a society. We are riddled with disease, we are riddled with inflammation, and we are wasting away. Because when you have things like preservatives in your food, you're getting all these flavoring agents in your food, you're sitting here consuming heavy metals, you're having all of these issues, and you're consuming them in your food, you are literally poisoning yourself. And since you're poisoning yourself with all of your habits, your actions, and your ways, and you're not sitting here following the covenant, understanding that you deserve whole, real food that has seeds, fruits that have seeds, have vegetables, have animals that are not GMO, that are not fed all of this grass and all these things that have been treated with pesticides and poisons and everything else, and realize that you deserve to be treated as a human being. You deserve to treat your body like a temple, and start to realize these things. Instead, you're sitting here believing a false narrative programming, and you're left with diseases and inflammation, and you're questioning why, and you're wasting away slowly. And so understanding that these fillers, these preservatives, all of these things are poisonous to our body. They're poisoning our body, and they're leaving us inflamed, and we're wasting away with the things that we're consuming. And if you want to learn about the things that are in our food, you want to learn common ingredients that we have in our food and how to get rid of them. There's a gnat flying around. If you see me swat at it, I'm trying to get it. But there are so many different common poisons that are put inside of our food that we don't deserve to be consuming. We don't need to be consuming, and we deserve more from the people who are supposed to be feeding us, and we deserve more for ourselves. So then we should be changing our habits and changing what we consume and what we're eating. And doing that is first becoming aware. And so you have to become aware of what's in your food. And so right now, for $11, I have my amazing ebook that is going to truly support you. This ebook is going to show you just common things that are in our food, common ingredients, because it goes through a number of things: preservatives, additives, fillers, heavy metals, showing you how to read a label, like all of these things to show you that excuse me, we are being poisoned with the ingredients that we're consuming. We do not deserve these things. What they're doing to our body, and examples of what foods that they're in. And all of this for $11. It's not going to stay for $11. So get it while you can now. And right now I have a bundle that's truly going to support you, that gives you that ebook. It gives you a replay of my Soda Girl Masterclass showing you like why we need to transition to a plant-based lifestyle. You don't have to transition to a plant-based lifestyle, but it's showing you how whole foods are supporting your body. So even if you still do consume the way that you do, consume your meat, whatever, it's the foundation to get you started to understanding that you need more fruits and vegetables in your life. You need to be consuming your fruits and vegetables, and they need to be organic. And it'll give you that replay, it'll give you the ebook, and you'll get a one-on-one with me, so then we can talk and discuss. So you can ask questions about the masterclass, maybe you have questions about the ebook, and it's a quick one-on-one so that we can just touch bases. I can make sure that you are okay. We can have an accountability session, and to just truly make sure that you are transforming your life into the positive space that you can be in. And that is only $47 for 3 for 1 price. And that's truly an amazing bundle. For $47, you get all of those things. And I want to support you through this, because purging the poison is so important, because our society, our world, our life is not going the way that it should be. It's not racking up it's not, I'm trying to think, moving up the scale in a positive light. We're not moving in a positive space. We are slowly declining as we speak, not generationally, not centuries. Like, we are declining year by year. Our world is getting worse. Month by month, our world is getting worse, and it's just in a different way in each aspect. It's just slowly all coming together of how terrible our society is and how misled we are, because we are believing in the programming. We're disassociated. We're not detaching by believing that we have sown the correct seeds. We are disassociating because we know we haven't done the right thing. We know that we haven't sown the right seeds, and the Most High is angry with us. We are receiving his wrath, and people are like, well, that's just a part of life. But you have to understand that if you're on the wrong side of his wrath and not the correct side, where you have been forgiven because you have repented and you're receiving his promises still, even through the wrath of society, you are a part of those people who are receiving his wrath, and you're wasting away. And so a lot of people are not thinking of it in that light, in that space. And so this is your mindset reminder. This is you to get into the mindset, to get into the space that you deserve better. You deserve more for yourself. You deserve to be treating your body like a temple, to be making the Most High happy with your actions and your ways, and to understand that they are poisoning you with the food that you're consuming. You should not be consuming poison in your food, and you should not be poisoning yourself by consuming these things and keep buying into these things and just saying, well, it's a part of life, because that's what you're doing to yourself. You're choosing that. Nobody is forcing you to go out and buy these poisons. Nobody is forcing you to eat this junk, because there is an alternative to all of these foods that you truly love for yourself. There is a natural, real whole food that can make the same thing and taste the same. You just don't want to try it. You just don't want to make it. You just don't want to change. You would rather be lazy. You would rather complain about something. You would rather just conform rather than finding solutions to the problem, because this is a problem. Regardless if you sit there and say, well, it's something that you're not really concerned about, it's a problem. Like, point blank period, it's a problem. And you ignoring it and disassociating yourself does not get rid of the problem. It's a problem for everybody, not just you specifically, not jumping on you, but it's a problem for everybody. And regardless if you believe it's a problem or not, looking at the ingredients and knowing that these things are adding nothing to you, it's adding nothing to your body, you should know that this is a problem and it needs to be changed. It needs to be figured out. And so this whole series is for you to, and it's free on YouTube. So this whole series is just here for you to realize that, like, you deserve better. You deserve to be treating your body better. And since you deserve better and your body deserves better, how are we going to make change? Because we deserve change. Purge these poisons from your life and invest in yourself. Invest back into yourself more than you just eating food. Invest back into yourself by taking care of yourself. And since we are in the space of we need to learn how to take care of ourselves, we need to learn how to purge these poisons, I am hosting an amazing masterclass at the end of the month. I am hosting it on March 24th. To understand how to purge these poisons from our life. We're going to be going through why they're so harmful for ourselves, going more into more in depth, deeper work into the mindset work that we're going to be doing. How we talked about in this live, touching on the mindset, we're going to be diving deeper into that, doing visualizations for ourselves, understanding how to get out of that negative pessimistic mindset into our optimism, our positive mindset, getting into what to switch and why we need to switch it for ourselves, because the what and the why is so important, and understanding what to switch out is important, because people want to sometimes people really truly do want help, and they just don't know where to go and how to start and where to get it from. And so that what and that why will get you started and get you in that foundational step to getting switched for the things that you love to things that will support you and you can love them too. And then understanding how to purge the poison, all through deprogramming and reprogramming, because that is our focus point for the month. And so for that masterclass, it's a deprogramming and reprogramming. And you can get this amazing masterclass for $111, because it's truly going to support you through this process for the month of March of our purging our poison, getting rid of this poison in our life. That 111 masterclass is going to support you, and you do not want to miss out, because truly, if you are not deprogramming and reprogramming your mind at this point in life and what is going on in this world, you are detached. You're not detached. You are disassociated. You are delusional, and not in a good way. You are delusional to the point where you are self-sabotaging yourself. You are poisoning yourself, and you are not going to be happy in the end of your life, because the way that this world is going, we are declining. We are not supporting ourselves. We are not allowing ourselves to be healthy. We are hurting ourselves. And so understand that we are hurting ourselves. We need to change our habits. We need to change our ways. And we need to transform our lifestyle. We need to transform so that we can live vibrantly, because we deserve to be living vibrantly. We deserve that for ourselves. So transformation is the start. Deprogramming and reprogramming is the start. And so to get to that space and to help us understand, first we need to know what is going on in our food. First we need to stop believing that this is safe in moderation.